5 years ago, a teenage girl's mother stepped into a dressing room and never came out. The police found the room covered in blood, with a pattern indicating repeated stab wounds. They never found a body, leaving behind a traumatized daughter who spent the next 5 years trapped in a state of suspended animation. That daughter, Cassie, learned to survive by analyzing the constant stream of data surrounding her. She developed a framework she calls the BPEs: behavior, personality, and environment. She tracks the minutiae of how people move, what they wear, and how they react, assembling these fragments into complete psychological profiles. She applies this system daily while working as a waitress in a local diner. Before two men even speak, Cassie correctly anticipates their orders. She notes a cheap watch, posturing body language, and a forced preference for spicy food to conclude that one customer will demand water, pretend to like jalapenos, and ultimately leave a terrible tip. By continuously dissecting the physical tics, clothing choices, and hidden insecurities of strangers, Cassie insulated herself from her past. Her trauma forged an obsessive observational habit, turning a 17-year-old girl into a human lie detector hiding in plain sight. Her abilities quickly attract the attention of the federal government. FBI agents Briggs and Locke approach Cassie at her diner, testing her on the spot. When she effortlessly reads a young agent's behavior, they recruit her into a highly classified initiative. Cassie is relocated to a sprawling Victorian-style safe house. This covert base of operations sits squarely on the grounds of Marine Corps Base Quantico in Virginia, isolating the program from the outside world while keeping it securely within federal jurisdiction. The agents reveal the true motive for her recruitment. An active serial killer is currently operating in the area, hunting a very specific demographic: women with red hair who claim to be psychics, the exact profile of Cassie's mother. The Bureau lacks the instinct to predict this offender's next move. By bringing Cassie to Quantico, the FBI intends to weaponize her trauma, utilizing a 17-year-old's hypervigilance to catch an active killer the adult agents cannot track down. The operational hub for this initiative sits near the primary FBI academy. Inside the nearby residential safe house, Cassie discovers she is not the only recruit. The Bureau has assembled a team of teenagers, each possessing an exceptional, hyper-specialized psychological aptitude. Dean serves as the group's intensely protective physical presence. Behind his guarded demeanor lies a dark origin. He is the son of a convicted serial killer, granting him an innate, terrifying understanding of how predators select and stalk their prey. Leah operates as the team's deception specialist. Because she can spot a lie instantly, she employs constant manipulation and fabricated stories as a psychological shield, preventing anyone from reading her true vulnerabilities. This chart maps the specific psychological strengths of the final two members alongside the rest of the unit. Michael tracks emotional undercurrents, reading the moods and unspoken feelings of a room. Sloan provides pure logical processing, acting as a human calculator who filters human behavior through absolute statistics and probabilities. Confined within the house, these overlapping abilities clash constantly. The teenagers endlessly read, profile, and test one another. Every conversation turns into a high-stakes interrogation, creating a volatile pressure cooker of suspicion and analysis.
The government bypassed traditional law enforcement training entirely. They gathered a group of deeply damaged teenagers and concentrated their coping mechanisms into a single, highly sensitive investigative unit. This aerial view of DuPont Circle highlights the geographical shift in the killer's hunting ground, marking the exact spot where a professional palm reader was recently murdered. Reviewing the crime scene photos, Cassie spots the horrific connection. The victim's hair color, the specific facial structure, and the exact method of the knife attack perfectly mirror the unreleased details of her mother's murder. The killer then abruptly alters the pattern. Instead of striking an adult psychic, the offender targets a concert venue and abducts 15-year-old Genevieve Richardson, taking her off the grid as an unexpected addition to the body count. At the abduction site, the team uncovers a coded message left deliberately for Cassie. The cryptic phrase "cola and thorn" serves as a direct, personalized challenge, forcing her to untangle the symbolism while the clock runs down on Genevieve's life. As the teenagers piece together the killer's trajectory, they arrive at a disturbing conclusion. The offender isn't just evading them, he is anticipating their specific investigative steps. The FBI hasn't built a safe haven, they've built a trap, using the naturals as the lure. The cold case transitioned into a live, two-way hunt. The offender possesses deep, intimate knowledge of the program's movements, manipulating the young prodigies with surgical precision. The trail terminates at a theater in Arlington. Inside, the team discovers a dressing room meticulously staged to replicate the exact, blood-soaked dimensions of the crime scene that haunted Cassie's childhood. In the room, they find Genevieve bleeding on the floor, restrained by the true architect of the murders. The killer is FBI agent Lacey Locke. Locke is Cassie's biological aunt. She legally changed her name, passed the Bureau's rigorous psychological evaluations, and infiltrated the FBI for a singular, violent purpose: to hunt down the person who murdered her sister, planning to kill them herself. Her obsession broke her. Locke launches into a brutal physical attack, attempting to strangle Genevieve on the floor. When Michael intervenes to protect the girls, Locke shoots him in the shoulder, tearing the team apart with lethal force. The institution that recruited these kids failed them entirely. The federal government unknowingly handed a badge, a gun, and unparalleled access to the very monster they were trying to catch, forcing the teens to rely solely on each other to survive the ambush. The physical aftermath leaves lasting scars. Genevieve barely survives the attack, and Michael faces months of rehabilitation, walking away with a permanent limp. Their trust in adult authority is completely shattered. Back at the safe house, the four teenagers gather around a coffee table for a game of poker, betting with Oreo cookies and chips. The tension of the investigation gives way to focused, calculated observation. The game functions as a live exercise in their respective talents. Leah spins a web of bluffs. Sloane calculates the exact card probabilities, while Michael and Dean quietly track the emotional and behavioral tells of the table. They sit in complete control of the environment. The trauma that broke their childhoods gave them the ability to read the darkest parts of human nature. They endured a psychopath's manipulation and survived an institutional betrayal. By weaponizing their own damage, they proved they possessed the exact psychological architecture required to hunt monsters.